Ethan Cole knew something was wrong the moment Marcus stopped answering his calls. For 12 years, Marcus Reed picked up every time, day or night. Didn't matter if he was in a meeting, on a flight, or asleep, Marcus always answered. That was their rule. Their company existed because of trust, and trust existed because of them. But now Ethan stood outside the glass office building in the rain, staring at his phone while the call rang again and again without response. Employees rushed past him holding umbrellas and coffee cups, pretending not to notice him. A few months ago, they would have smiled and waved. Now they looked nervous, avoiding him. That fear in their eyes made Ethan's stomach twist. He walked inside quickly, water dripping from his jacket. The lobby felt colder than usual, quiet. The receptionist barely looked at him. Is Marcus upstairs? Ethan asked. She hesitated before nodding. Conference room. Something about her voice sounded forced. Ethan stepped into the elevator and watched the numbers climb. His heartbeat grew faster with every floor. 3 hours earlier, he received a message from the company's legal department asking him to come in immediately. No details. No explanation. Marcus ignored every call afterward. That had never happened before. The elevator doors opened. The entire office floor was silent. People stared at computer screens without typing. Others whispered near the windows. The second Ethan appeared, conversations stopped completely. A cold wave moved through his chest. Then he saw two police officers standing outside the conference room. For a moment, his brain refused to understand what he was seeing. One officer looked up. Ethan Cole. Ethan blinked. Yeah. What's going on? The officer stepped forward calmly. Sir, we need you to come with us. What? Another man exited the conference room carrying folders, packed with documents. Behind him stood Marcus. Their eyes met instantly. Marcus looked pale, not angry, not surprised. Guilty. Ethan stared at him in confusion. Marcus opened his mouth like he wanted to speak, but no words came out. The officer continued. You are being investigated for financial fraud involving company funds. Ethan laughed in disbelief. What are you talking about? No one answered. He looked back at Marcus. Tell them this is a mistake. Marcus lowered his eyes. That silence hit harder than any accusation. Ethan stepped toward him. Marcus, still nothing. The officer placed a hand near Ethan's arm. Sir, please cooperate. This doesn't make sense. Ethan snapped. I didn't steal anything. One of the investigators opened a file. We have records showing transfers authorized under your credentials over the last 18 months. Ethan shook his head immediately. No, that's impossible. But as the investigator flipped through printed bank statements, Ethan recognized his own digital signatures. His chest tightened. Every transfer pointed back to him. Every approval carried his name. He looked at Marcus again, desperate now. Say something. Marcus finally spoke, but barely above a whisper. I'm sorry. The words crashed into Ethan harder than the rest itself, not because they sounded emotional, because they sounded final. The officers escorted Ethan through the office while employees watched in stunned silence. Some looked shocked, others looked disappointed. One woman quietly covered her mouth as he passed. Ethan's entire world collapsed between the conference room and the elevator. Outside, rain poured across the streets while cameras flashed near the entrance. News spread fast in the business world. Reporters shouted questions before Ethan even reached the police car. Did you steal investor money? How long was the fraud happening? Did Marcus Reed know? Ethan barely heard them. All he could think about was Marcus standing silently in that room, not defending him, not fighting for him. Just watching. At the station, hours passed in a blur of questions and paperwork. Ethan repeated the same answers again and again. No, I didn't move the money. No, I don't know those accounts. Yes, Marcus had full access too, but every piece of evidence pointed back to him. By midnight, Ethan sat alone in a small gray room, rubbing his tired eyes while rain tapped against the tiny window above him. Then the door opened. Claire walked in quickly. His younger sister looked terrified. "Oh my God," she whispered before hugging him tightly. Ethan finally broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. He just sat there holding his sister while the reality crushed him piece by piece. Claire pulled back. "Tell me the truth." "I didn't do this." She nodded instantly. "I know." Those 3 words nearly made him cry again. She sat beside him while a lawyer reviewed documents nearby. "The news is everywhere," Claire said carefully. "They're saying millions are missing." Ethan leaned back against the wall. "Marcus knows I'm innocent. Then why isn't he helping you?" Ethan had no answer, and that terrified him most. The next few weeks became a nightmare Ethan couldn't escape. Investors pulled out of the company. Articles painted him as a greedy executive who betrayed his own business. His face spread across news websites and business channels. Old photos of him and Marcus standing together at company events now appeared beside headlines about fraud and deception. Everywhere Ethan looked, his life was being rewritten. Neighbors stopped talking to him. Friends stopped replying. Even strangers recognized him sometimes. He stayed inside most days, avoiding the internet and television. But no matter how hard he tried, the outside world kept finding him. One afternoon, Ethan finally met Marcus privately for the first time since the arrest. Marcus chose a quiet restaurant across town. Hidden, empty. Ethan arrived early and waited near the back corner. The moment Marcus walked in, anger exploded inside him. Marcus looked exhausted, but still polished in an expensive coat with perfect hair and calm movements. Meanwhile, Ethan barely slept in days. Marcus sat down slowly. Neither spoke for several seconds. Then Ethan leaned forward. "Why?" Marcus rubbed his hands together nervously. "It got out of control." "That's not an answer." Marcus looked away. "The company was failing faster than you realized. So you framed me." "I was trying to save everything." Ethan stared at him in disbelief. "You destroyed me." Marcus finally met his eyes. "If investors found out how bad things really were, we would have lost everything." Ethan said bitterly. "Looks like you're doing fine." Marcus's jaw tightened. "You think I wanted this? You let them arrest me." Marcus stayed silent again. That silence told Ethan the truth. Marcus had already accepted what he'd done, maybe even justified it. Ethan leaned closer. 12 years, Marcus. "We built everything together." "I know." "No, you don't." Marcus looked genuinely shaken for the first time. "I didn't think it would go this far, but it did." The waiter approached awkwardly, sensing tension. Neither ordered anything. Ethan stood up slowly. "You could have told the truth," he said quietly. Marcus didn't answer. Ethan laughed once, but there was no humor in it, only pain. Then he walked away. 2 months later, the investigation finally uncovered inconsistencies in the financial records, hidden transfers, altered timestamps, secret accounts connected to Marcus. The case against Ethan weakened immediately. But the damage was already done. The company board quietly removed Ethan's name from major accusations, but no public apology came with it. News channels moved on to other stories. The internet forgot him almost overnight. That hurt in a different way. His reputation disappeared in public, but the scars stayed private. One evening, Ethan returned to his apartment and found his fiancée, Lily, sitting beside packed boxes. The sight punched the air from his lungs. "You're leaving." Lily looked heartbroken. "Ethan, you said you believed me." "I do." "Then why are your bags packed?" She stood slowly. "Because everything changed." Ethan shook his head. "So this is it. You've become someone else." These last months, he laughed bitterly. "I got betrayed. And now all you talk about is Marcus." Tears filled her eyes. "You barely sleep. You barely eat. You sit awake every night staring at the same files. What do you want me to do? Forget it happened." "No," she whispered. "But I don't want revenge to become your whole life." Ethan looked away, because deep down, he already knew she was right. Lily picked up her coat. "I still care about you, but I can't watch this destroy you too." The door closed softly behind her, and just like that, another piece of Ethan's life vanished. Winter arrived early that year. Cold winds swept through the city while Marcus Reed appeared on Magazine Cove, smiling beside headlines calling him a brilliant survivor of corporate scandal. Ethan nearly smashed his laptop the first time he saw it. Marcus gave interviews talking about difficult lessons and moving forward stronger. He spoke carefully, like a man rewriting history one sentence at a time. The public loved him. That was the worst part. Marcus didn't look like a villain. He looked successful. Meanwhile, Ethan sat alone in a dim apartment surrounded by unpaid bills and legal papers. At night, memories replayed endlessly in his head. The first office they rented together, the cheap coffee they drank while building presentations. At 3 a.m. Marcus promising they would always protect each other. All lies now. Or maybe not lies. Maybe Marcus changed somewhere along the way. That thought haunted Ethan more than hatred. Because if Marcus transformed into this person slowly, then Ethan missed every warning sign. Claire continued checking on him often. One night she arrived with groceries and found Ethan sitting in darkness staring at old company files spread across the floor. "You need sleep," she said gently. "I need answers." Claire sat beside him. "You got cleared." "Not really. You're free." Ethan looked up slowly.